teaching accomplishments, whatever. Just to sort of spark your imagination, we might think about Srila Prabhupada's accomplishment, for which I always say that Satsvarup Maharaj's biography of Srila Prabhupada, I like the first volume best. It's called A Lifetime in Preparation. It's described in terms of chronology, most of Prabhupada's life is in that first volume, in which Prabhupada, as the title says, is preparing himself to come to the West and preach and so on. So we may think how Prabhupada received an instruction, and then he began his planning, his meditation on how he was going to accomplish it. Again, this is something that you don't have to fix in stone for now. You're just sort of playing with ideas. Also, this is something which you might actually, I know it's hard for brahmacharis to keep anything for very long, but you might want to keep this timeline, this lifeline, and then look back on it after some time and see what it was that you wrote way back in the year 2010, and then you might find yourself laughing at it. What do they say? The best way to get Krishna to laugh is to tell him your plans. Right. Still, and then you might find you want to revise it. You may find that, well, that aspiration, that's not really my aspiration anymore. I have a better one now, perhaps a more clearly focused aspiration, perhaps a more comprehensive aspiration. So it can be changed over time. The point of this is that we say Ado Shraddha, the beginning is Shraddha. And I want to say that Shraddha has to do with our determination, and determination has to do with our making some choices in our lives. Before I go on about this, does anyone else have a thought on this, either with respect to your own, what you put down, or more generally? Any response, or a question? What is the point of this? Any thoughts? Yes. What is your name?
Martin Stars. I have a small question because
Yes.
you made this.
Oh.
You made a similar exercise before,
Oh.
kind of similar, and then and then while on Sankirtan, I tried to write down some goals in my life, like in 1 year or 2 years, or and also for some days, maybe, or for the week.
Right.
And what I found difficult is I set a certain goal and I write down, Krishna, if you want, I will distribute so much books,
Yes.
or I will meet so much people who are interested in something like this. It's at the end it's sometimes disappointing that the goal is not there. So I was wondering if there are some fault in my making the goal or setting the goal, or what. Can you just explain a little bit about this dissatisfaction? I don't reach goal.
Actually, that goes right into our next topic, which is just see, must be super slow, which is how do we feel about success and failure? But before we get there, let me just see if there's any other thought on this. But let me also clarify. You're saying that you articulate something. I would like to distribute X amount of books if Krishna allows me, and then it doesn't happen. And then am I doing something wrong by putting my aside from your concern, I think you've raised an obviously good point for all of us, and that is, if Krishna allows. That's kind of the conditional statement that we always make. Krishna willing, if Krishna allows, with Krishna's blessings, right? Because minus that, then what are we about? This is not our understanding. And I would say, with respect to this point, that the articulating of a goal, the articulating of a desire, is something which Krishna may or may not fulfill it. He may not ever fulfill it. He might not fulfill it right away, but he hears it. And this is important. Krishna, we have the understanding that we should just surrender to Krishna, whatever Krishna wants. That's true, right? But then what if Krishna is waiting to see what we want? Because bhakti is about reciprocation, isn't it? And bhakti reciprocation means something is going in two directions. So we may sometimes feel, well, if I'm a really surrendered soul, then I'll just kind of wait and see what Krishna wants. Well, you might be waiting a very long time. Because meanwhile, Krishna is waiting to see what is your aim, your direction. I'm being a little cautious, as I mentioned last time, with the word want, because want has this kind of double meaning. There's a difference between being a drifter in spiritual life and being, what would be the opposite of a drifter?
Oh.
A rower? Yeah, okay, very good. Yeah, to use the analogy. A rower. A rower. The captain of a ship. Yes. So you just kind of pull up the oars and just let the boat drift. Then who knows where it's going to take you. Yeah. Yes?
Is it a go-getter?
Go-getter?
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds a little bit majestic. I suppose you could also say that. Here, Sean.
Difference between gliding and flapping the wings.
Gliding and flapping the wings. Okay, gliding means sooner or later you're going to glide down to the earth, right? Okay. Yeah. All right. So this is kind of the main point I want to make out of this, and this is something you can also pursue further on your own, and as Dwarkadesh, yes, as Dwarkadesh mentioned, you can do this also in terms of short-term goals. Now that said, someone may ask, how does this relate to another point we were discussing last time, namely, na sochiti, na kamchiti, samasadeshu, that sochanam has to do with the past and kamchanam has to do with the future. So you're talking about making plans for the future, and isn't that going to implicate us in hankering, and we want to respond to that possible purva paksha. You know what purva paksha is? In Vedanta, there's purva paksha and there's siddhanta. Purva paksha is the opponent's ideal, and the siddhanta is the conclusion that is divided. Yes,